You're listening to Love and Tears, where every tear tells a story that hasn't been told yet. Where broken hearts find compassion, and where love, though unfinished, still has a little warmth left. If you're watching from somewhere in the world, let me know. I want to know where your heart journey begins. Now, sit back, turn off the lights, take a deep breath, and let me tell you a story. He still keeps the text. Not because he couldn't delete it, but because a part of him needed to remember it word for word. No more intimacy. Deal with it. That was all. No warning. No explanation. Just a simple flick of her thumb and his world fell sideways. You know that moment when your mind refuses to believe what your eyes are seeing. When grief doesn't come as a scream but as silence. That's what he felt. Like trying to fit a jagged piece of pain into a space where love used to live. Her name was Emily. They'd been married 8 years. The first 3, laughter and warmth. The next 2, manageable, busy, normal. But the last 3 had been quiet. Too quiet. Like someone had turned the volume down on their hearts. He thought it was just life. Stress work, fatigue, the things that eat at all couples. But for Emily, it wasn't a phase. It was an escape plan. And that text was her way out. That night, she came home late again. Keys dropped in the dish, no words, just the sound of running water behind the bathroom door. An hour later, she walked out, hair damp, eyes empty, and went straight into the guest room. He didn't follow. For the first time, he didn't try to fix it. He just lay there in the silence thinking, all right then, let's deal with it. In the days that followed, something in Ethan, that was his name, began to change. Not loudly, not like in movies where men throw rings or slam doors. No, this was quieter, sharper. He stopped offering dinner, stopped checking if she was okay, stopped making excuses for her distance. He still cared, but he stopped chasing. Because how long can you keep knocking on a door that's already been locked from the inside? Then one night, he noticed her phone buzzing. Her laughter was lighter, unfamiliar. She stayed late more often, team drinks, workshops, projects. But there was perfume that didn't belong to the office. And messages that made her smile at midnight. And then there was Clara, her best friend. Too present, too helpful, too involved. One evening, Ethan overheard laughter in the kitchen, Emily and Clara whispering, giggling. A phrase floated out between the clinks of wine glasses, finally putting him in his place. He didn't need to hear more. A line had been drawn. He finally saw who had helped her draw it. He didn't rage, he didn't shout, he just adapted. If she wanted distance, he would give her space. If she wanted silence, he would master quiet. No more cooking, no more small talk, no more rescuing. When she asked, "You haven't made coffee lately?" he simply said, "Thought you wanted space." It stunned her that absence could feel louder than anger. But Ethan wasn't seeking revenge. He was searching for truth. Clara came by more often, too often. Laughter filled the house, but it felt rehearsed. Every time Ethan passed, they'd go silent. Every time he caught Emily's eye, there was defiance. So he started keeping notes, not out of paranoia, but precision. Dates, times, excuses, outfits that didn't match her stories. Then came confirmation from someone who didn't even mean to give it. A co-worker. Rachel said, "I saw your wife at the rooftop sushi bar the other night. That green dress? She looked beautiful. You two looked great together. Ethan smiled faintly. I wasn't there, and in that moment, everything aligned. That night, Emily came home late again. She tossed her purse, kicked off her shoes, and asked, "You didn't cook?" He looked at her calm. No, then kept eating his takeout in silence. It tasted like victory, quiet, patient, deliberate. Weeks passed. Ethan joined a gym, lost weight, found calm. He started staying out late, not for company, but for peace. He realized something painful and freeing. Emily wasn't even trying anymore. She had grown entitled to affection she no longer earned. And he was done giving love to someone who treated it like an option. Then one night, he overheard her again. She thought he was asleep upstairs, but her voice floated up from the kitchen. "I think he's finally getting it," Emily whispered. "He's cold as ice lately." Clara's voice followed. "Good. Maybe now he'll see how much he relied on you." Then, soft laughter. That was it. That was the moment he stopped being her husband and became his own man again. About a week later, Clara appeared uninvited, confident. Ethan was fixing a cabinet when she walked in. "Heather home?" she asked. "No," he said. She smiled, leaning against the counter. "You two okay?" He looked up, meeting her eyes cold, steady. "We're doing whatever she wants us to be doing." She laughed lightly. "You've been distant," he replied. "Takes one to know one." Their exchange shifted. The air grew heavy. She claimed she'd been helping Emily. Ethan said softly, "No. You were feeding her power. You liked watching her pull away." She didn't deny it. And when she finally left, he pressed record. Every word was saved. That evening, Emily came home early for once. "I ran into Rachel," she said. "She told me you've been looking great lately. Is there someone else?" Ethan smiled faintly. "No. But you've made room for someone, haven't you?" Her face hardened. "You're twisting this." "No," he said quietly. "You ended intimacy over text. Remember, deal with it." So I did. And for the first time, she didn't have a reply. Days later, she came home early again, eyes restless. "Can we talk?" she asked. She sat down, hands trembling. "Tessa said you threatened her." He laughed softly. "No, I told her I knew what she was doing." Then he added, "Do you want to know what she said when you weren't around?" Emily froze. "I recorded it. She laughed at you, said I was sharper than you thought." Emily's expression shattered. He continued, "Remember that green dress my coworker saw you? Not at a work dinner, with someone else. Tall, Rolex, sound familiar." She didn't deny it. And that silence was all the truth he needed. "I've already met with the lawyer," he said gently. Her eyes widened. "You're ending this." "You already did," he replied. "I'm just closing the tab." She tried to cry to explain to reach him, but the bridge was gone, and he wasn't standing on the other side anymore. The divorce came quietly. No shouting, no fighting, just signatures and silence. He gave her the house. Not because he was kind, but because he no longer wanted to live inside a ghost. Months later, he saw Clara again at a bookstore. She looked pale, tired, empty. "You look good," she said. You don't? He replied. She smiled weakly. Fair. She still talks about you, you know. She said she thought you'd chase her. Ethan's voice was soft. She was wrong. Then he turned and walked away. No anger, no drama. Just peace. It's been a year now. He cooks for one, hikes on weekends, sometimes smiles for no reason. And when people ask why his marriage ended, he simply says, "We stopped being partners." Because in truth, she chose ego. And he chose peace. And sometimes, my friends, that's the bravest kind of love, the one that walks away. Not because it stopped caring, but because it finally remembered its own worth. If you've ever been through something like this, if you've ever loved someone who forgot how to love you back, tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because here on Love and Tears, every broken heart still has a story worth telling.